Welcome to another monthly portfolio update. If you are stopping by for the first time, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In this video, I will share with you how much I invested in my taxable account in May, how many shares I bought, and the value of my portfolio at the end of May. But as always, before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing is not financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. With that being said, I will dive right into my portfolio update. I will start with a quick recap of my April portfolio to show you the value of the portfolio and how many shares I had before the beginning of May. The total equity of my portfolio at the end of April was $62,907.63. $62,904.72 was the market value of my investments, and $2.91 was a cash amount. At the end of April, my portfolio was up $11,637.56. This was plus 22.70%. These are my holdings: 2 Vanguard ETFs and the 2 BlackRock ETFs. VCN is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the Canadian market. I had the 96 shares of VCN at the end of April. VFV is a Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF. This is the Canadian version of a VOO. I had the 266 shares of VFV at the end of April. XEQT is a BlackRock ETF. This is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, developed market equities outside of North America, and emerging market equities. If you want to hold a single equity ETF which is globally diversified, you might consider looking into XEQT or its Vanguard equivalent, VEQT. I had the 450 shares of XEQT at the end of April. XUU is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the US total stock market, and I had 246 shares of XUU at the end of April. I will now show you how much I invested in May and how many shares I bought. I bought 2 shares of VCN. The cost per share was $45.24. The total cost, $90.48. This is 15% of the amount that I invested in May. I bought 2 shares of VFV. The cost per share was $128.45. The total cost, $256.90. This is 43% of the amount that I invested in May. I bought 3 shares of XEQT. The cost per share was $30.64. The total cost, $91.93. This is 15% of the amount that I invested in May. I bought 3 shares of XUU. The cost per share was $53.41. The total cost, $160.23. This is 27% of the amount that I invested in May. In total, I bought 10 shares in May, all the ETFs combined, and the total amount that I invested was $599.54. This is $126 less than the amount that I invested in April. As you can see, in April, I invested $725.54, and in May, $599.54. The difference is minus $126. The total equity of my portfolio at the end of May was $65,791.06. $65,787.71 was the market value of my investments, and $3.35 was a cash amount. At the end of May, my portfolio was up $13,921.01. This was plus 26.84%. As of May 31st, I had 98 shares of VCN, 268 shares of VFV, 453 shares of XEQT, and 249 shares of XUU. All right, let's now take a look at some quick details about each of the positions. I will start with a VCN. The closing market price on May 31st was $45.43. The quantity of shares that I had, 98. The average price, $40.79. The book value, which is how much I have invested in VCN, was $3,998.01. The market value was $4,452.14. This was 6.77% of my portfolio. VCN was up $454.13, or 11.36%. Next, we have VFV. The closing market price on May 31st was $127.83. The quantity of shares that I had, 268. The average price, $97.31. The book value was $26,008.45. The market value was $34,258.44. This was 52.07% of my portfolio. VFV was up $8,177.99, or 31.36%. Then we have XEQT. The closing market price on May 31st was $30.58. The quantity of shares that I had, 453. The average price, $25.36. The book value was $11,489.01. The market value was $13,852.74. This was 21.06% of my portfolio. XEQT was up to $2,363.73, or 20.57%. Finally, we have XUU. The closing market price of May the 31st was $53.11. The quantity of shares that I had, 249. The average price, $41.36. The book value was $10,299.23. The market value was $13,224.39. This was 20.10% of my portfolio. XOU was up to $2,925.16, or 28.40%. If you recall, in April, the stock market was down. My portfolio ended April minus 3.35%, and the S&P 500 fell 4.10%. However, in May, the stock market rebounded. My portfolio went from 22.70% at the beginning of the month to 26.84% at the end of the month. This is an increase of 4.14%, and I only invested $599.54 in May. As for the S&P 500, it returned plus 4.80% in May. So far, the stock market is defying the sell in May and go away adage. This adage refers to the historically weaker performance of stocks from May to October compared with the other half of the year. Since 1990, the S&P 500 has averaged a return of about 2% annually from May to October, versus about 7% from November to April. Whether the market will decline or grow more slowly between June and October remains to be seen. Nobody can predict with certainty how the stock market will do in the short term. As for me, I will stay the course, keep investing consistently, and focus on the long term. If the stock market declines over the summer, or any time for that matter, and I have cash reserve, I will deploy more capital to buy more shares at a discount. Alright, feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time with another update. Peace out.